What is up, Chuckle Fucks? As always, this is Patrick, your handsome leader. Today, I'm going to be walking you guys through a bench day. Now, we are just off of the American Pro, right? We competed at the American Pro about a month ago. We are on week 4 of our first block after the American Pro, and we are working on some things that we learned about my bench press as we competed at the American Pro. The number one thing being that I have a lot of inflammation in my upper body that slows down my bench stroke. So we have a active warm up that will help us address that with some chaos push-ups, and along with some other things going on with that, some lat prayers, an active warm up, pre fatigue work. Then we are going into the incline bench press and then into some dumbbell incline bench press for a little bit of a little different stimulus going into today's training day. And I'll walk you guys through what I'm looking for from myself, what coach is likely looking for in my movements when I'm performing these. I guess they're accessory movements because they're not main movements, but they are working on my weaknesses that come along with my own bench press and my own struggles. So we've got those. We got some supersets. You guys are going to love it. Stay tuned. I'll explain everything later. All right. So what we got going on here? We got the chaos push-ups. We've got 2 blue bands suspended across the safeties of a power rack. So you want to set it up so that it's kind of like when you're at the bottom of this, because when you go down onto it, it's going to stretch out. You want it to be at about where a bench press would kind of be, like where you're not quite where the bench press is, but when your elbows would be at about 90 degrees. It's not that important. The really important part is how much band tension you have, because what this is going to be working is your stability in your downward stroke with the bench press, which is my personal weakest point of the bench press. So you get these set up. It's kind of at a higher angle than I usually like, but I just reduce the amount of band tension. You want as little band tension as you can manage when setting up the chaos push-up, because the less band tension, the less rigid it's going to be, the more chaotic the chaos bench press is going to end up being, the chaos push-up. So we went from 3 bands down to 2 bands. And we are working on a couple of cues right now. We've got 2 specific cues that we can utilize with our upper body. We have a third cue that is core related, which doesn't really relate to this today. And what we're doing is we are trying to grab with our pinky and our thumb, squeeze especially hard. It's kind of like bending the bar, right? That's one of the cues that a lot of people use. The second cue is we want to stretch the band apart. This is going to incorporate your lats and your pecs a little bit better. It's also going to bring the chest up if you utilize this on the bench press. So if you are a delinquent like me, go and ask one of your female lifters, the females in your gym. Make sure that you're not going to get kicked out for this, and have them try and touch their elbows behind their back. You're going to see their chest rise up. You're going to get a good time because they're going to be showing you their boobies. So that's basically what this is going to be end up working. This is a circuit, so we've got Bulgarian split squats to work on knee health, and for some reason Joe always has me pre-fatigue my quads. I've got pistol squat toe taps from a I don't know how high that is. I think it's a 5 or a 6 board, not quite sure. And then we've got the chaos push-ups, the bread and butter, and we're going to finish off with lat prayers. We're going to do 8 sets of a number of reps that I should probably check before I start doing this. So let's just get it going, right? Today we got incline bench, and we are opting to do incline bench rather than flat bench in this current training cycle because I developed a lot of inflammation in my shoulders, biceps, pecs, triceps, all the major movers associated with doing the bench press. And the overhead press does 2 things for you. It increases the reliance on the shoulders and triceps. I have really weak shoulders, and the weakness in my shoulders is holding back my bench press because everything has to compensate for the weakness in my shoulders. And it also takes leg drive out of it. I can bench 405 just with leg drive because I know how to properly cheat the bench press. So we're doing 4x8, 2-count paused Spoto press, which means the bench is coming down about 2 inches above the chest as specified. And we're doing a 2-count pause, pressing it back up. We're doing sets of 8 with that, trying to kind of build up the weaknesses in our shoulders while still getting a similar motor pattern, a similar movement pattern of a regular bench press by stressing the system as much as possible without stressing the ligaments and everything as much as possible. So it's like we're trying to feed 2 birds with 1 stone, but we're also going the most roundabout way of doing this. But allegedly it's going to work. In Coach we trust. Let's get to it. I got called for my wrist straps being improperly secured at the American Pro twice. So let's try to. I talked to Hunter Henderson after the meet, trying to figure out how she does it. And this looks like it could be legal, maybe. I had floppy bits on the back of the hand. Is this what I did? I don't remember what I did. They say it can't go up your hand, but I had floppy bits going basically up to my knuckles. And it's like, it's not adding any support, but it's not legal, so I'm not allowed to do it. Like, I got a little bit of a floppy bit right here. I don't know if that's legal or not. Ugh. And if I So this is a little more difficult than I expected. I didn't expect 275 to feel that heavy by the end, but the 2-minute rest really caught up to me super fast. We also had, it was close grip too. We had pinkies on the ring rather than our competition grip, which made it that much more difficult. It isolated the triceps and shoulders that much more, which means the fatigue wasn't evenly dispersed across more than 2 muscle groups. So we got a pretty sick pump though. That's good. It was programmed to be 270, but I hate change plates. Like, I'm not in the camp that everything should on the bar should either be a 45 or 25, but it's nice. It's not like tiny little variant plates going on a bar. But by the end there, I feel like we may have been cheating the pause a little bit longer, but the final reps of those sets were grinders to the point where I don't feel guilty about it. We still got the work done. We still did do a pause, just maybe not as long as a pause as we should have done. But if we did the pause as long as we should have, we might have gotten ourselves into a sticky situation. You don't want to be in a sticky situation. Anyways, on to the dumbbell portion. Dumbbell incline bench with the 105s, which I hate doing because just getting the dumbbells up to the chest is a pain in the tuchus. All right, so dumbbell incline bench. What you're looking for is not to move the weight super heavy, super fast. No. What we're looking for, because my issue is the amount of inflammation that I accrue in my upper body, is an increased range of motion. So like when you're doing a dumbbell bench, a lot of times you'll come down and you'll touch to your chest. That's not what we want to do here. We are looking to stretch the chest, get this, like the cleavage stretched out, and we want to stretch the triceps and shoulders out, and we want to touch to the outside of the shoulders. We want to increase the range of motion as much as possible. If we can bring it so that the handles are almost even with our shoulders, we're doing good. So that's what we're looking for doing this. Anything else I'm forgetting? Oh, I hate setting up for this. It's a given. Who doesn't hate setting up for these? Especially when you are big, fat, and ugly and feel like you're a burden on anyone whenever you ask for help. So we clean out our pockets because I'll bring the dumbbells to the edge of my knee as far as possible. And I kick one side up, my good side apparently, for some reason. And I kick the other side up and then I lean back. And if I have anything in my pockets, I end up crushing them. And you don't want to break things if we can help it. The Fitbit will be fine. Famous last words. Not going super tight with the wrist wraps. Because, honestly, it's just 105 pounds. It's like benching 210. It's like 30%. But what we're looking for is that increased range of motion. And we got to work all the stabilizers. And if you have the wrist wraps too tight, you're isolating or alienating stabilizers. I hope that pole doesn't come to bite me in the ass. Not going for a tempo, but still ended up doing one anyways. We got a superset, y'all. So we are supersetting rear delt rows, which means we're rowing from down below towards our face, almost like a cable low face pull with the V attachment. And then we're doing instead of 15 with that, and then we're supersetting into just a cable row, kind of targeting the back. The low row, the rear delt row, is it rear delt? Delt row, it attacks one of the delts. I'm not reading the program right now because videoing myself right now, and I can't exactly multitask when my phone is all the way over there, and I got these tiny little T-Rex arms. It's not the only thing on me that's tiny and little, but basically, the theme of today is I have weak shoulders, so let's make them unweak. Let's unweakify my pussy little shoulders. So rear delt row, working the backside of the shoulders, and then we superset it with the back row because the rear delt cable row attacks the shoulders and it plays just the tip of the back. So we're doing instead of 15 with that, kind of pre-fatiguing the back before we go straight into, we're going balls deep into training the back with the regular rows. So we're doing 3 sets of 15 and 10. So 25 total reps. We're going to plate per side. So 90 pounds with the most frictioned cable. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There are 13 pulleys in this system. If any of you guys are physics majors, figure out how the distribution of that is. And also note that there is rolling friction on every single one of those. And not once have they ever been lubed up. So 90 pounds could be 100 pounds, could be 180 pounds. God only knows. Just know it's not actually. I count it on the program as 1 plate per side, but it is what it is. Stop procrastinating and start lifting. This is probably going to kill my beard. I'm going to have like a bald spot on my chin. Let me straighten this out a little bit. Unlike all of you, because every time I take my shirt off, my retention spikes, showing that you're all bears and I know it. So if you'll see, you'll notice I'm pausing at the top, trying to hold that contraction, squeeze the correct muscles that I'm trying to work. And then I'm slowly controlling the weight back down to the stack and really extending, letting my scaps retract. Yeah, retract and stretch out. Get stretch and compress. But this one, all that's important is the pinching of the scaps. So well, that was incorrect. It's not just the pinching of the scaps that's important, but it's also the stretch. You want the stretch, compression. Go watch an old Kai Green video to understand. Well, he doesn't really explain it. He just says stretch, compress, um, to show you guys, like, understand the methodology. Because Coach 100% stole this from bodybuilding. This is 100% stolen from bodybuilding. The tempo bullshit. I think he stole it from CBum specifically. So CBum never explains it, but my coach knows people who have trained with CBum, maybe trained CBum, like Jared Feathers and the RP Strength guys. But basically doing bodybuilding accessory work to try and make our powerlifting muscles bigger, and then we do the powerlifting movements to make our bigger muscles stronger. So you get bigger and stronger at the same time. And the bigger you get, the stronger you get. A little bit of science there. A little bit of meathead science. But I got 30 seconds left of rest. I'm going to kick you guys out of here so I can listen to my J-pop. If you've ever thought to yourself, man, I really wish my arms looked like nice, thick porn star cocks, this is what you should be doing. We've got a superset. We're supersetting triceps with triceps. And the pump is going to make it so that you feel like you're trying to crush your bones, your whatever bone lies beneath the tricep, to dust. Because we're doing an 013 tempo, so which means we are extending, we're holding for a moment, and we're controlling it back. And we're doing a set of 8 single arm with the tempo, and then we're doing a set of 20 with the rope overhead extension. So we're hitting both of the arms at the same time. I think we're either doing 4 or 5 sets of it, regardless. You know how a pump feels good? It feels nice. You're like, I'm getting a hug finally for the first time in my entire life, because no one wants to hug someone who's just as ugly as me. It feels like the hug is the person trying to hurt you. And that is a life lesson, because people only exist to hurt you. Don't trust anyone ever. They're just going to hurt you. I'm a strange man on the internet. You can trust me. Females can send me nudes. Check me out on Instagram. The DMs are open. I know no female will ever actually send me nudes. That is a joke. Or is it? But let's get set one. Let's get set one going. And then we've got one more superset after this, and you guys can hear me complain about how my triceps felt like massive porn star cocks because of this, because we're going to get super jacked, super massive arms, super pumped. Ready? Go. Elbow's not feeling good. And this is the part that hurts. Well, not on this set. This set is almost just the foreplay for it. It's all the other sets, and this is going to hurt. Except the elbow already hurts. Set one done. Not too bad yet. It's going to get bad. This isn't programmed, but we're finishing off with hex dumbbell holds. I'm not actually timing them, but these are blowing up the forearms. I got a bad grip on that. Ooh, look at that. That filter. Or not filter, but they're talking about filters. But look at that tricep. It's like in the mirror, I can see my bicep vein. I'm trying to make my forearm veins pop while also, making stronger grip and forearms. I already did one set of these, so it's already burning pretty intense. It's only 20 pounds, but it's such a thick hold. Oh, oh, oh. But let's see what's under here today. Oh, what a surprise! I'm still fat. I noticed that whenever I take my shirt off in a video, the retention spikes, so it's almost like I have to take my shirt off in every video now. But I don't even. It's just this. You can't take Arnold. Just I don't know how to properly pose. I just look in the mirror and I'm like, damn, look at that muscle. Let me suck the gut in. The power belly. And we did some back work today. Why not look at the back? I don't know how to properly. I think I'm posing right. But there's a little shirtless sessions for you bears. If you're the bear that's skimming through all my videos looking for me when I'm shirtless, comment below so I at least know who you are. I can call you out by name next time. You're a naughty little boy. Oh, good grief. That's going to... I should cut that out, but I'm too lazy to cut shit out these days. Sam Sulik doesn't have to cut anything. I don't have to cut anything because Sam Sulik's strength is only like 30% of mine. So you can suck my dick. But like, he gets millions of views on every video, so like, I guess he's better. In a way. And that is that, Kimusabes. We did it kind of feels cheaty to call it a bench day because while this day is normally programmed to be a day for benching, we did not do any flat bench. We did not do a competition lift today. But if you think about it, hypertrophy blocks in powerlifting program often do not have the kosher method of doing the big three. It gives us a little bit of rest from competing. Like you'll see a lot of guys busting out the safety squat bar, which is exactly what I'm doing right now to give the shoulders a little bit of a rest. We are doing the incline bench to work on my weak points, I guess. Not completely sure. I should probably ask coach more questions on that, but I feel like a burden whenever I ask questions. So I end up not asking enough questions, which is a fault on my own. And we've got the forward banded deadlift. So it's like we're not doing missionary position on any of the big three lifts right now, but it's hypertrophy block. Well, generalized hypertrophy block where most powerlifting programs post meet will jump into a hypertrophy block rather than a hyperplasia block where you're aiming to get bigger rather than get stronger, so that during all the hyperplasia blocks, you take that size that you gained in the hypertrophy blocks and apply it to the big three by making those larger muscle fibers stronger muscle fibers. So the thing is this method of training, every single accessory movement outside of the big three the big three movers such as squat, bench, and deadlift is a hypertrophy movement. So we're constantly trying to get bigger, more muscular, and we are also constantly trying to get stronger. So I don't quite know what. So this block is intended to burn up all the creatine in your system. It's basically trying to fatigue your muscles to a point where you're starting to like you're basically recovering from the meat, right? You've got high glycogen stores, you've got high creatine stores. Your body's accumulated a lot of resources in preparation for the competition and post competition because it's like, you lifted some heavy shit. Let's get ready to lift more heavy shit because I don't have eyes and ears because I'm just your central nervous system. I am just your body trying to accommodate to what you are doing. So post meet, your body's like, let's just accumulate everything. So this block is, I've called it autoerotic asphyxiation block before. Last time that I ran this block with Joe last year, but I was also puking more because I had less understanding as to how to properly do the movement. So I was extremely inefficient while performing literally every single one of the movements. I was ego lifting, but I was also sandbagging at the same time. Now we have a better focus. We are less shotgunny and more sniper rifle-y. We're not there yet. We're more like a handgun as opposed to the shotgun, but we're getting closer and closer to having a singular, highly accurate target as to how we are approaching the things that we are doing in the gym. And that's focusing on the specific muscle groups, using the 013 tempo, making sure that we have the correct muscles activating, making sure that our form is as perfect and as optimal as possible during training. That being said, this is the first training day since Thanksgiving, right? I had 4 days off in a row from work because my work was like, work sucks, but it kind of it gaslights us into thinking that it doesn't suck by giving us good holiday leave, basically, where we still get paid for. So basically my last day of work in December for the year of 2023 is going to be December 22nd, that's a half day, and then I'm off for the rest of the year, right? But it does that by not giving us all the little holidays off that the government gets off. So it's like, hey, you've got a lot of accumulated holidays that we're going to be giving you, and you're going to have a good time with all of it. Actually, just kidding. We're just actually giving you the holidays that you were supposed to have previously, just at a different time. But what's going on is this past weekend, I caught up with Neon Genesis Evangelion. Now, I watched the original run of the television series back in, I believe it was 2014, when my brother was introducing me to anime outside of Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon, right? Because we all watched Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Naruto, One Piece, Bobo, like whatever was on Toonami, that's what we watched. That was our introduction to anime. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh. But my brother introduced me to the more it's not like more adult side, but it's the more adult side of Japanese anime with Puella Madoka Magica, right? And then he showed me Neon Genesis Evangelion. And he said, all right, we're going to watch most of this show. We're not going to watch the last 2 or 3 episodes because they're garbage, right? Now, recently, Netflix got the rights to Neon Genesis Evangelion and had the show on. And I was like, oh man, I never watched the last couple episodes. Let's do that. So I completely rewatched the show. I watched the last couple episodes and I was like, they ran out of budget. Shit. This was the biggest waste of my time. Now, I was salty for a bit, and last week I restarted, or I decided to finally watch the movies because everyone says that the movies fix everything that's wrong with the show. All right, it actually gave it a definitive ending. I watched 1.11 last week, and I watched 2.22, 3.33, and 3.0 plus 1.01 this past weekend. I had to wait for my parents to go to bed. I do live with my parents. Have you seen the economy and how much people get paid? I can't afford to live on my own somewhere. I don't get paid enough. And despite having multiple jobs, I still can't make ends meet most of the time. So I live in my parents' extra room. So I waited for them to go to bed, and I popped in. I with my snacks, Saturday snacks. I watched one of the movie with my Saturday snacks, but normally I'm just like, I'm gonna have some decaf coffee and just watch this, or I'm just gonna have the Zelda puppy dog, and we're gonna sit by the pellet stove and watch this. Now, if the television run of Neon Genesis Evangelion pissed me off, the movies were pretty great. 1.11 was everything that was good with the series. 2.22, really good, introduced Asuka Langley, but made horror better. They made her better. And it went to, I think it was still kind of in line with the television series, but not quite in line with the television series. 3.33 completely diverged, made you like Asuka even more. Is that a spoiler? Because they kind of say, oh, Asuka, it's been 2 years. If they're like, oh my gosh, Asuka died at the end of 2.22, and then 3.33, they were like, actually, no. But it did fix everything that was wrong with the television series. It just had, so 3.0 plus 1.01, the final movie in the Neon Genesis Evangelion movie series, pissed me off, right? So I mentioned earlier my brother introduced me into more adult anime, with Puella Madoka Magica, right? The plot of the final Neon Genesis Evangelion movie had the same plot as the final few episodes of Puella Madoka Magica. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but it pissed me off. And it did the anime thing where you're just like, oh, they're trying to be super deep and they couldn't really like express what they actually meant. So they kind of just tried to go over the top with like, it's different than the American cinema where they're just like, I don't know what to express in plot. Explosion, gunshots, action scene. There's nothing actually going on. We're just giving you a lot of visual. We're giving you visual ADD, and you're going to ignore the fact that like there's no plot in this movie whatsoever. But what they did, what anime does sometimes is they're like, all right, scientists said there's 4 dimensions. There's length, width, height, and time. That's 4 dimensions. What if there were more? And then like and then they get kind of biblical with and then they're like, I don't want to. I'm not going to spoil it for you. You should get pissed off on your own. That's all I'm saying. So I watched a porn once where a tranny was talking to a chick, and she said there is no difference between pain and pleasure, right? There's just sensation, and that made me connect more dots. There is no difference between love and loathe, right? My phone's at 5%. I gotta finish this up real quick. There is only being passionate about something. So if something makes you feel passionately, makes you push yourself to a point where you're like, I feel this way vehemently, then it has an impact on you. Then it is a good thing. If it's a negative thing, it's a chance for growth. If it's a positive thing, congrats. It's a positive thing. You just won the lottery. But I feel passionately about how I am unsatisfied with the ending. But everyone else who I have heard from online, because I don't actually have friends in person who watch similar television shows as me, has expressed how phenomenal the ending is. So, go watch it. It's included with Amazon Prime right now. The entire world is subscribed to Amazon Prime right now, Prime Video. Go watch it. It's free on there right now. It's included with Prime. Like, you got nothing to lose except maybe some time just to be like, what the fuck did I just watch? I mean, you're watching this shit. You're watching me. The fuck are you watching? Go watch something that actually took thousands of millions of. I don't know what their budget was. Just it has more production value than this shit. All I'm doing is sweating and yelling at a camera. But I'm passionate about it. And so should you. Have a wonderful day. I'm so fucking good at transitions and segues.